Hello, welcome back to Talking Sense. It's Sunday, so it's time to do some Sunday sampling. Really hope to pull something good this week. I've been wearing a lot of heavy stuff. Dior Noir, Via Army by Beaufort, which I've loved all week, but it was really nice to pull something, you know, fresh and spring. It's felt spring this week, despite the lockdown. So, fingers crossed, eh? So Sunday sample, complete random sample, just gonna pull it out and see what happens. So, it'd be nice to pull out something spring this week, but we'll see, we shall see. Whatever comes out, right? We have got, oh, okay, Masque Milano, an homage to Hemingway. This is a vetiver fragrance, vetiver and leather. So it's not really that springy, but yeah, Masque Milano, Italian company, and this one, homage to Hemingway by Fanny Bao, apparently. I had smelt this once before, but it was a really long time ago, and it wasn't on skin. It was when I picked this up, it was literally just a quick spray, and I was after vetivers, and I picked up like 5 or 6 vetiver samples. So I haven't actually properly smelt this yet, only like briefly in passing. What I do know is that it was quite, if I remember, it was quite animalic, and like quite an animalic rough leather, and a very like spiky, very strong, really good quality vetiver. But that's, you know, say it was in passing, so we'll give it a proper sample today and see what it's like. So let's give it a spray. Settle it down for a second. Right, okay. So this is not far from what I remember actually. So it's a lot of cypriol oil in there when it opens, so it's got a quite dirty, earthy smell. It's like vetiver and cypriol, and that's pretty much what you're struck with straight away. Like strong, earthy, dark, sort of muddy scent, and I don't mean that like muddy as in like the scent is muddy. I mean literally as in like mud, like earth, like a strong kind of earthy darkness, and a spiky vetiver. And honestly, that is about it. That's all I'm really smelling. It's the cypriol that's giving it a bit of a leathery vibe actually. Sort of cypriol has that kind of slight sort of animalic leatherish kind of vibe, but it's much too strong for that. So I don't, obviously what I remember it being like an animalic leather was not, it was cypriol definitely. And honestly, that's all I'm really getting at the moment, is like just a cypriol oil, strong cypriol, and quite a strong vetiver. And the vetiver in it is a very reedy, sort of grassy vetiver. Sometimes you have like those sort of smooth, woody vetivers, right? And other times you get those kind of slightly more kind of spiky, sharp vetivers that are a bit more kind of reedy and grassy. This one definitely feels like that. It's much more reedy and grassy. It's quite nice, but it's quite simple. That's really it. Like, that's all I'm smelling. When I first sprayed this, I remember like way back, I was in Bloom, I think it was, and I wanted like a really good vetiver basically, and I was spraying like a bunch of vetivers, and I sprayed this one on a card, and I just remember it thinking like, ooh, this is gonna need a wearing because it's a bit too sort of full on. But now I smell it, and actually I feel like it's pretty chilled out. It's basically like a vetiver, cypriol, slight floral. That's about it. When you spray it, it does have that sort of dirty, muddy, earthy cypriol that's very dark, but it's calmed down now. and it's already taken a backseat to something far, far more sort of powdery, soft, and slightly sweet floral. That feels very much like a buttery orris, something like that. I would put money on it being a buttery orris, actually, something like that. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and wear it, because that feels like that's it. There's not much else I can explain. And I'll come back and talk about the dry down a bit later, and a bit more about what I thought of it. So yeah, this is Masque Milano. A tribute to, homage to Hemingway. We'll see how it goes. Nice one. Okay, I'm back, and I've been wearing homage to Hemingway for like 4 or 5 hours now, and I have to say it's really good. It's really nice. It is what I remember it being, just basically vetiver, straight vetiver with a little bit of leather. I looked up the notes, and interestingly in the top it says it's got ginger and rhubarb, and then essentially the rest of the fragrance is Haitian and Javan vetiver, so it's got 2 different types of vetiver, and patchouli, cedar and leather. That's the lot. Well, it's just a strong vetiver scent, but it's a really good vetiver scent. I have to say that opening, that I said it smelled like a sort of buttery iris note, it sort of faded away. It never really kind of produced into anything, and I get the feeling that it was more just like the kind of aromatic side of the vetiver, maybe, or that it was in there and it just fades out. But I suppose it does play into that vetiver, and it just makes it feel very aromatic. Say it was very grassy. It's not so much that smooth woody vetiver is. It was more of a grassy, really aromatic vetiver. So I suppose it plays into that. The rhubarb, I have to say, I didn't get at all, like full stop at all really. The ginger was that I could kind of see that. Now I read the notes, I can kind of see, yeah, okay, because I mean vetiver's slightly spicy anyway, so I kind of figured it was just part of the vetiver. But yeah, I can see that they've kind of amped the spice up a little bit with a bit of ginger. But for me, it's just a strong vetiver scent, and even those leathery facets that it starts out with, they, I feel like they die back quite a lot, and it just dries down. I don't even get a lot of patchouli. I just get vetiver, and it's good. It's a really good vetiver scent. The vetiver is high quality, I think, and it is a good quality scent. I did enjoy it, but I have to say it didn't like super knock my socks off. And I remember, say, sampling this in a shop and picking up a sample and taking it away, thinking I need to wear this, because I wasn't quite sold on it in the shop. And now I feel like I know why, and it's really good, but it just doesn't sort of like, I think if you're looking for a really good vetiver, I think this could do it for you. If you just want straight vetiver that has that quite aromatic, there is a slight sweetness to it, slight spiciness, very much a grassiness, like dry herbal grassiness to it, and there is some sort of earthy facets to it, which I still think is Cyprio in there, that kind of lends it a dirty, earthy facet. It's not a super dirty fragrance though, but there is that kind of earthiness to it. If that's what you're looking for, I would say that this fragrance does it much better, and this is probably why I never bought it in the end. I never actually got around to really sampling it, is Serge Lutens Vetiver Oriental. Now this is not a world apart, it's much sweeter, but it's again a really high quality vetiver, which is what I was after when I was looking for this. I was looking for a really good high quality vetiver. This just does it better for me. It's got all the same elements. It's got that slightly spicy, slightly sweet, grassy, aromatic vetiver, but it's just kind of mixed with dark chocolate and a few other interesting notes. I think if you're after something that's a bit more pure, then this is something to look at. This is more, say, just pure vetiver, but I just didn't find it that exciting. It was good. It's really good fragrance, and I feel like it's got really good ingredients, but it's just not that exciting. I like it. If I had it, I would wear it for sure, but I'm not gonna go out of my way and buy it. But it was a good Vetiver fragrance. I think if you're looking, like I say, like if you're I mean, I'm sort of playing this down a little bit, because I think if you're looking for a pure Vetiver fragrance, go for it. I think this is a really good one, like really good. I think if you're looking for a Vetiver with something a bit more interesting, a bit more kind of, that's not such a pure Vetiver, then I would say no, don't bother. Look at the Serge Lutens instead. But I actually think these two are very, very, very good Vetiver fragrances. To say, if I was looking for something that was just pure Vetiver, this would be like my first stop, like for sure. It's really good. But it's just, you know, I find personally that now I'm kind of comfortable just owning this one as a really good Vetiver scent, because I just like the extras that the Serge Lutens gives you. But yeah, it's not a bad scent. It's a really good scent. It's really done well. The ingredients are really high quality and all the rest of it. It's just not super exciting. So who do I think it's for? It's quite masculine, to say the least. I mean, it's all Vetiver, so it's pretty masculine. Dressing it up or down, I mean, I think it's actually quite works both ways, because Vetiver's quite rough, so you could dress it down, but if you dressed it up, I think it would look good. I think it's really good for the spring, actually. Autumn and spring, I think, is really good for this. I do think it would work really nicely in the spring. But yeah, otherwise, that's about that. I do think it's a nice fragrance. Glad to have sampled it properly, but not super bothered about it. Perhaps if I kind of revisit Vetiver and feel a hankering for a pure Vetiver, I might look back at this again and have another kind of go at it and then maybe pick it up. But as I am right now, I'm kind of alright with the Serge Lutens for my kind of go-to when I want a Vetiver kick, you know. But otherwise, you know, it's not to take away from this fragrance. I think it's excellent, and I think specifically if you're looking for a Vetiver that is just Vetiver, like a very strong focus on it, I would say this would definitely be interesting for you. So yeah, that's about that. Thanks very much for another Sunday sample. I hope you're all well. Stay healthy. I'll speak to you all really soon. Cheers.